Hi, boys and girls. This is our Social Studies After the Civil War video. And this is really as far as we go with the social studies study of history. We go up to what is known as Reconstruction, which is the time period where the South was being rebuilt after the Civil War. So I'm going to share with you some information that takes us through this period of time. This is slightly towards the end of the last unit. It's just a little bit of extra information in the last unit, Unit 8 of the Social Studies workbook. Much of the southern United States was destroyed during the Civil War. Farms and plantations were burned down and their crops destroyed. Also, many people had Confederate money, which was now worthless, and the local governments were in disarray. The South needed to be rebuilt. So if you remember, General Sherman had enacted that total war, and that was what had just totally destroyed the South. The rebuilding of the South after the Civil War is called Reconstruction. The Reconstruction, and this is with a capital R too, lasted from 1865 to 1877. So about 12 years. The purpose of the Reconstruction was to help the South become a part of the Union again. Federal troops occupied much of the South during the Reconstruction to ensure that laws were followed and that another uprising did not occur. Many people wanted the South to be punished for trying to leave the Union. Other people, however, wanted to forgive the South and let the healing of the nation begin. So, this is very similar to how people feel when they feel like they've been betrayed. Abraham Lincoln wanted to be lenient into the South and make it easy for the southern states to rejoin the Union. He said that any Southerner who took an oath to the Union would be given a pardon. A pardon is a forgiveness. He also said that if 10% of the voters in a state supported the Union, then the state could be admitted. Now, 10% wasn't a lot, right? Under Lincoln's plan, any state that was readmitted must make slavery illegal as a part of their constitution. So that was where he drew the line as far as slavery. President Lincoln was assassinated at the end of the Civil War, however, and never had the chance to implement his Reconstruction plan. When Andrew Johnson became president, he was from the South, and he wanted to be even more lenient to the Confederate states than Lincoln. Congress, however, disagreed and began to pass harsher laws for the southern states. In an effort to get around laws passed by Congress, many southern states began to pass black codes, and these are both capitalized words. These were laws that prevented black people from voting, going to school, owning land, and even getting jobs. These laws caused a lot of conflict between the North and the South as they tried to reunite the Civil War. To help with the Reconstruction and to protect the rights of all people, 3 new amendments were added to the Constitution. The 13th Amendment outlawed slavery. The 14th Amendment said that black people were citizens of the United States and that all people were protected equally by the law. Now, we know that conflict, kept going. And the 15th Amendment gave all male citizens the right to vote regardless of race. Notice it says male citizens. Women still did not have the right to vote. New governments were formed in the South starting in 1865. The first state to be readmitted to the Union was Tennessee in 1866. The last state was Georgia in 1870. As a part of being readmitted to the Union, states had to ratify or approve by vote the new amendments to the Constitution. The Union did a lot to help the South during the Reconstruction. They rebuilt roads, got farms running again, and built schools for poor and black children. Eventually, the economy in the South began to recover. Some Northerners moved to the South during the Reconstruction to try and make money off of the rebuilding. Now, some people say this was not the honorable thing to do, but nevertheless, it happened. They were often called carpetbaggers, one long word, because they sometimes carried their belongings in luggage called carpetbags. The Southerners didn't like that the Northerners were moving in trying to get rich off of their troubles. It's kind of like with the gold rush, people went out to California in the gold rush, but then other people followed to be able to sell the people who were looking for gold things that they needed to look for gold at increased price. The Reconstruction officially ended under presidency of Rutherford B. Hayes in 1877. He removed the federal troops from the South and the state governments took over. Unfortunately, many of the changes to equal rights were immediately reversed. Interesting facts about the Reconstruction. White Southerners who joined the Republican Party and helped with the Reconstruction were often called scalawags. Kind of an interesting little term. The Reconstruction Act of 1867 divided the South into 5 military districts that were run by the Army. President Andrew Johnson granted pardons to many Confederate leaders. He also vetoed a number of Reconstruction laws passed by Congress. He vetoed so many laws that his nickname became the Veto President. Interesting little fact there. All right, so that kind of wraps up everything that we're going to talk about with Reconstruction after the Civil War. Very interesting time. Lots of things going on. And some of them good, some of them not so good. This also will correlate with a reading selection that I will do for the reading after the Civil War. So be on the lookout for that video as well. Bye.